I am going to talk about I'm going to talk about the attention trap that operators are having when they're registering, when they're controlling the production. So what happens is that many times you may have a lot of errors and a lot of mistakes that happen in the production line, and you are saying nobody cares and nobody is accountable, nobody is responsible, nobody has some pain for my business, and that makes sense. And I'm going to discuss about this right now. And maybe the problem with this one is not really that people don't care about the business, but that you don't have a, a structured container to keep them accountable, give them feedback, make them actually care about the business. And I'm going to show you that data is a crucial part of this. So, as always, this is Andreas Letters, and welcome to my live. Why the real reason why operators don't pay attention. So what happens is that the human error is actually the biggest root cause for quality issues. And you may see a lot of things happen. You may see wrong recipes. You may see wrong dimensions. You may see not respecting quality controls, or products not conforming to drawing, wrong setup, too much crap, very slow changeovers. You can see a big amount of different errors can happen in production line and go from operators' mistakes. And many of them have to do with the lack of motivation. This exists. Some people are doing a work that they don't really want to do. Sometimes it's lack of instructions. We don't really instruct them correctly. Sometimes it's lack of experience. We have new guys. They have to do mistakes. It's inevitable. Sometimes external pressure. Some people are just having problems psychological with their families. Maybe they are on medicine. Maybe they're sick. There are sometimes wrong procedures. You didn't really create the procedures correctly. You didn't really instruct them how to do the work. Sometimes it's just the individual character. Just some people don't like to do this job, right? But I think that one of the biggest reasons is that the lack of accountability and feedback. Why do I say that though? Because an operator will stop caring naturally when his actions have no direct consequence, positive or negative, to his life. For example, if they make a mistake, they have no negative consequence. Nobody's gonna tell them something. Nobody's gonna ask them why they make a mistake or keep them accountable for it. Or there is nothing positive. They're not gonna get a bonus. They're not gonna get recognition. They're not really going to get something out of working and following instructions because many times nobody is gonna know. Actually. And another thing is that nobody cares enough to keep him accountable. Nobody is there to tell them this is wrong, this is right, in the correct way, with love, with care. This is wrong, this is right. Why do that? Many times, what happens is that there is someone that's there all the time. The production manager is monitoring what's happening, but without real data and without real understanding of its individual performance. So the only way to cultivate that in the production line is actually when there is a proper data collection and visualization. Because this way you have a clear understanding of what's happening on the shop floor, and when something is wrong, and when someone is skipping quality control, skipping the procedures, not doing what they should do, go there and you talk to the person specifically and with evidence, with simple language, with demonstrations, without personal opinions, without accusations, but with data. And what happens to actually to the average factory, to the average small factory that doesn't have digitalization, is something like that. There is the problem number one, right? That the they have the paper everywhere. They register things on paper, and that happens both to small factories and to bigger ones. And actually, uh, there is a lot of things that all the quality controls and all the outcomes and all the outputs are actually registered on paper and actually stay there, so nobody can see what's happening on the shop floor, and we can really expect from the production manager to go paper by paper see what's happening. So nobody controls what's happening, what's the output, and what's the quality control, and if there's everything is on point. The second thing is, let's say that there's all the data registrations, there, you collect all the data, but reporting is a mess and doesn't help you take decisions, doesn't report the data in the way it should. It's very, it's everything is an Excel file, or you have to go to Minitab. It takes so much time to do an analysis, and it's a pain to even touch the data, so nobody cares about them. And that's another thing that you register the data by no uh, actually understanding the shop floor. They don't have any real impact on your process. And the other thing is the third one is that yes, you collect the data. Yes, reporting is on point, but nobody does anything about it. They just see the data or they don't even see them at all. And they don't call the shop floor to keep operators accountable. They don't call the production manager. They don't take any action out of this. Um, in order for a factory to solve this problem, they need to solve these three issues: collect data, proper visualization. That's a very important thing, and also action. But action without data is a pain. Is wasted time. Data without action is totally pointless. So we need both of them. And how did my client solve the issue actually? So this is what we said today is that the operators usually, when they don't really see that they don't feel accountable for their actions and the data that they register down, the quality controls they're doing, the outputs, the scraps they're having, all their performance is not traced properly, they tend to lose motivation because there is no feedback, because there is no container, because nobody tells them that what they are doing is wrong or right, someone showing that they care about it, and nobody care, but nobody really calls them when they make mistakes. They tend to lose motivation, and maybe it's not really going to happen the first year, but it's going to start happening year by year. And the consequence of that is that you're going to have a lot of scraps, you're going to have a lot of quality issues, and you're definitely going to lose a lot of money from simple, stupid mistakes that you shouldn't be doing. And in order to solve these stupid mistakes, you need to keep people accountable. They need to know that every time they do mistakes, someone's going to call them and they are going to tell them to correct what they're doing. And this is how my client solved this issue because he had a very big issue with that, and he was losing a lot of scrap and a lot of raw material from that. So first and foremost, he was registering all the data on a piece of paper. And what we did, we created a very flexible system for him to collect the data from the shop floor and register it properly without wasting time on a specific platform in the cloud, so that he can have a repository of all the quality controls, all the outcomes, all the outputs from the production line. Second thing, we took this data from the, the cloud, and we created a very flexible reporting system that keeps him live, uh, 8 hours of the production, what's happening on the show floor, and it's telling him if an order is red, it's green, if it's creating more scraps than it should, or if there is a very wrong registration. It's everything is written on the reporting system, so he understands with just one glance, and that's my goal. When I create something for reporting and for a factory, my idea is that with one glance, you know if you are going well or not, even if you don't understand about your production. With right colors, with right indications, with right aiding, with the right conditional formatting, you understand if there's everything is going well or something is wrong. And he understand immediately without clicks something is wrong. So what does he do? What did he start doing? He started calling the people and showing up on the shop floor every time that there was something wrong, every time that there was a lot of scraps. If someone does 10% of scrap, he was calling and saying, why do we have 10% of scrap? If someone was registering wrongly, why do you register wrongly? And this time, this thing created a culture, created fear, let's say, a constructive fear, a constructive anxiety, constructive stress that made people be afraid that when I make a mistake, someone's gonna call me and they're gonna tell me that they're gonna ask me to do something. That's very important thing. And because she did that without doing any sophisticated work data, without doing forming a team, without really searching for the root causes, touching the recipes, and doing all the scientific things that you should be doing when you have your data, just because the operators knew that he was watching, they were a little bit more afraid that they should than they used to be. From September to October, he reduced the scraps by 50% to all the machines. I mean, you can see also those data. I can't show you everything. I can't really tell you, but you can see that he went from 5 to 0.2 to 2.82, and that's really remarkable. And imagine he did that even um, without even doing root cause analysis. That's impressive. Just by people knowing that he's watching, and that's powerful. Um, And if you have the same problem, if you have small stupid mistakes that cut production, cost you money, and cost you raw materials, if you digitalize it, if you come to me and we digitalize your system and we have the right reporting, we will have this problem fixed, we will have the problem solved, and you're never gonna have stupid mistakes ever again. So thank you so much for watching. Was Andreas Letros. I was this time it was a little bit more a workshop that I did from a cafe. I didn't have another space to do it. As I said to you, the attention is very important. We need to create when we are in a production line. Uh, it's good that the person that is responsible, the manager, is respected. He, he has a presence when he goes in the shop floor. But in order to create a container, right container, so that the production can flow and can be everybody is on there following the procedures, nobody's making mistakes, and everybody is operational and performing again. We need to have data and a real solid visualization so that we know 100% of the times if what we are thinking that's happening, if the theory, if we're thinking is happening, is actually correct. If we are having, if we're working on targets, if someone's mistakes, if they're following our indications, the only practical way to do that is by having data. When you have data, you have the capacity uh, to put this container the software, understand deeply what's happening, and also keep people accountable because you can call and you can show up on the shop floor only when it's necessary and ask for for explanations when you see mistakes, when you see too many scraps, when you see quality issues, when you see wrong recipes, and that's can change your whole culture without going into sophistication, without going for rules. So, said standardization that has this power is not the only one, but it has its power, and it can help you draw more attention in shop floor. Thank you so much for watching. That was Andres Letros, and see you in the next live.